One of my favorite times that sticks out in my mind is we had a Christmas sleepover at my parents' house, and the girls came over and we made spaghetti, like a nice fancy dinner, well, of spaghetti from Aldi, but still. We had candles and everything. We tried to make it special, and then after we baked cookies, and I think it was me and Kathy, we were making the peanut butter ones with the stars on top, and we ended up making like tons of cookies. I don't know how we ended up with so many, but we accidentally baked them with the stars in the cookie, and so they melted all over and were not very pretty at all. And I remember, I think it was Leah or Paku were very confused at how we let that happen, but I guess that's what happens when I'm in charge of cookie making. But that was really fun.
It's about Marlene. She was a little girl. She started last year. It was the first time skating. And she had a hard time, just like everybody does. But she was a little bit slower, and a lot of the kids, especially the boys, were getting better and faster and more competitive. And I could tell that she was kind of backing away because it was getting rougher and faster. But she was still getting better. I don't think she felt like she was, but you could tell she was. And the boys were getting, most of the boys were getting better with the puck and shooting the puck, and she really, like I said, she backed away from that. But during the year, the course of the year, through drills, and she'd hit the puck, so she knew what it was to do it, but she was kind of afraid to do it, I think. But like I said, through the course of the year, you could see her getting better. And at the end of the year, we have a scrimmage between the DinoMights, and the game was almost over. I don't know what the score was, but there was a lot of goals scored. But anyways, the puck bounces out away from one of the nets, right to Marlene, and she shoots it just like a hockey player should, and it goes in the net. And she exploded with a big smile, and like she scored the winning goal. So that was an awesome thing to see from her. It was fun.
Okay, so last summer during Power Camp, I was having like kind of a rough week, and it came to the day where we went to the water park, and I was driving to the church to pick up the Suburban, and on my way I got a flat tire, and I'm like, ugh, this day just stinks. So I got the Suburban and I went up to pick up a bunch of kids, and one of the little girls, Ani, I picked up, she hops in, and my swimsuit was kind of out of my t-shirt, like the straps, and she points to them and she's like, "Is that your bikini?" I was like, "Mm-hmm." And she says, in the most genuine way possible, "I bet that looks really beautiful on you." And I was like, oh man, like that just made my day. You compliment a girl in her swimsuit, like the whole week is golden. And so that was really, really cute and adorable and really great to hear. So she made my day.
Last year when I was driving my kids home from practice, one of the kids from the back seat said, Coach, I got a question for you." And I said, "What's that? What's your question?" And he says, "When do we become really, really famous?" I said, "If you work hard and listen to your coach, you'll be famous."
Something I will always value about my time coaching with DinoMights is this past winter we went to Detroit to a tournament called Hockey in the Hood, and this is a tournament where teams from all over the nation that are urban come and play hockey together, and it's through the NHL Diversity Task Force, I believe. And on the way home I was talking to a girl who's been in DinoMights for quite a few years, and she was a senior at South High School. Her name is Paola, and she was sharing with me that when she first came to South High School there were not hardly any Latino students, and she was one of the only ones, and she felt pretty alone at first. And then she thought about her time with DinoMights and how the organization really reflects students of all cultural backgrounds, and it taught her to, forge those relationships and build friendships with people of all different cultures. And she attributes all of her friendships at the South to being involved with the DinoMights program and being able to make friends with people no matter what culture they're from.
So last winter I drove Alex and Michelle to practice every day, and on our way to and from practice we would all talk Chinese together. They knew a couple words and I was studying it, and so we kind of just go back and forth saying words to each other, and they'd say something in Spanish and ask me to translate it into Chinese, and we had blasts doing that. And The last day of practice, Michelle gave me a little present, and it was a little McDonald's toy that she had gotten and that she had played with, and it looked like it was well loved, and she gave it to me as a thank you for driving her to practice every day, and it was really sweet, and I really liked her feelings and her just everything behind her giving the gift and our time together in the car.
My favorite DinoMights memory is last year when I was helping out with the Squirts team. We were scheduled to have this game, I think in Logan Park. It's one of the outdoor parks in northeast Minneapolis. And the other team didn't show up. There was just a scheduling error. It was a big mix-up. They ended up at a different rink, I think. Probably wondering where we were. Not really sure how that got resolved. But we were all ready to play a game. All our kids had all their game equipment on, game socks, game jerseys. We were pumping them up. The other team just didn't show up. So it took us half a second to figure out what to do. We were there. We're not going to pack up and go home. We just decided we were going to have maybe a practice or maybe a scrimmage. We were going to see what's up. So we got all the kids out there. And so a little context. Our previous few games, we kind of got demolished by the other teams, the other park board teams. We weren't really playing together well. A lot of things that we had worked on in practice weren't really translating to the games. So then fast forward, we're doing the scrimmage thing that we're doing now. We decided we were just going to play against each other. And the coaches were playing too. We had already talked about it. The other team wasn't showing up, so we automatically won this game anyway. It was a forfeit. And so we just had this scrimmage, and for the whole night, it was super cold. We just scrimmaged ourselves, and a whole bunch of the kids came out of their shells. They were doing things that we hadn't seen them do in other games, and they were doing things like passing the puck together and communicating as a team like we hadn't seen them do before. And so it's kind of funny, there was no other team that we played against, but we won that game, technically, and it was kind of like a breakout game for the team. For a lot of individuals and the team as a whole, and it was really exciting for us to see. And everyone just had so much fun, regardless of how cold it was. Like a handful of kids stayed after and kept playing, and they had a ball. So that was a pretty fun one.
One memory comes to mind in particular. I'm a co-coach of the Penguins, 3rd to 5th grade girls, and all year we were working on trying to learn how to skate backwards, which was very challenging for a lot of the girls. By that point, a lot of them had done pretty well with the skating forwards, but backwards was a whole different story. A lot of them really struggled, and we worked through the entire year to try to get some of these girls to be able to skate confidently backwards. And a lot of the girls would just keep telling themselves, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't skate backwards, it's too hard, I can't do it. And as a coach, I always tried to encourage them, yes you can do it, you just have to keep trying. And so we worked through this all year. And then this particular story was in the spring during Learn to Skate, and some of our older girls have an opportunity to volunteer with Learn to Skate, and so they can come and help teach these younger kids how to skate. And so Faith came, and she had really started to master the skating backwards thing, and she was helping this one particular 1st grader skate. And this young girl was just having a really tough time, really struggling just to stay on her feet. Kept telling Faith, I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm gonna fall, I can't do it. And Faith looked her straight in the face and said, you can do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. You can't tell yourself, I can't do it, because I know that you can do it. And then she looked up at me and she said, you taught me that. And while she was doing it, she was skating backwards. And it was just this really beautiful moment of her realizing that she could do the things that she had previously thought she couldn't do. And just to see her confidence grow in her abilities was really amazing, and it's one of the reasons why I love DinoMights.
I'll do anything.